Hey everybody, this is Clement and welcome to my channel, The Beyond Toys Review. Alright, this is my first video, so I thought of sharing some of my Marvel Legends collections. So I'm gonna show to you specifically the X-Men lineup, some villains of the mutants, few of the adversaries of the superhero Spider-Man, and some of my custom-made figures. So far, this is only a temporary setup displaying these figures, since I'm in the process of creating a cap to include my entire Marvel collections. Anyway, I hope you like this video and get inspired while checking out my collections. Please don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to this channel. So yeah, let's start! Okay, so we're going to start with the Spider-Man villains. Okay, so first in line is no other than the leader of the original Sinister Six, Dr. Otto Octavius, also known as Dr. Octopus. Second is one of the members of the Sinister Six from the fourth incarnation, or the Sinister Seven. So we have Mac Gargan, also known as Scorpion. Next, we also have one of the original members of the Sinister Six, and primarily depicted as an enemy of Spider-Man and Daredevil, Quentin Beck, also known as Mysterio. Then we have another founding member of the Sinister Six, no other than Vulture. Next, we have the first human host of the Venom symbiotes, no other than Spider-Man. Moving on, we have the second human host of the Venom symbiotes, Eddie Brooks' Monster Venom. So this figure is actually a custom made. So instead of completing the buff or the Build-A-Figure Monster Venom or getting the deluxe version of the figure, so I decided to custom made or make my own one. So I used the Caliban Build-A-Figure for this body or for this figure and hand painted it. So the head came from the Monster Venom and just painted the figure. So moving on, we have the Red Goblin from the Kingpin wave. And then we also have two versions of the Black Cat. So we have the older version from the Ultimate Green Goblin wave, and then the Kingpin wave. Next we have Puma. This is also came from the Kingpin wave. Then we have the members of the snake-themed supervillains, the Serpent Society. So far we have 3 members as of this video. So we have Cottonmouth, and then we have Rock Python, and of course King Cobra. And lastly, we have our custom figure Firestar. Please don't get me wrong, Firestar is not a supervillain of Spider-Man. Rather, she's one of the amazing friends of Spider-Man. So I'm just showing to you my custom figured Firestar. Okay, so we have few of our villains section from our temporary setup. So to start with, we have the Juggernaut from the 2-pack, and then of course we have Tom, or Black Tom Cassidy. And then we have Polaris, and of course Scarlet Witch. And then we have Magneto, and of course a Build-A-Figure Caliban. And lastly, we have Enchantress. So next in line are the members of the Uncanny X-Force. So first we have Deadpool, or Graypool. And then we have Wolverine. So this version came from the Wendigo wave. And then we have Archangel. So this is a custom-made figure. I used the Union Jack body while the head came from Vision. So I sculpted the wings or the retracted wings using an air-dry clay. Moving on, we have Phantom X. So the head is also a custom-made. And then we have Deathlock. So actually this figure is also a custom-made. I used the body of Skullbuster and hand painted the figure. And then we have another version of Wolverine from the ROML or Return of Marvel Legends. And lastly, our custom-made figure Warpath. So these are the members of the Uncanny X-Force. So we have these figures, some Deadpools and friends, and of course some of our Cyclops collection. So we'll start with Cable. And then we have our Age of Apocalypse Blink. Actually, I have other members of the Age of Apocalypse wave, but of course the setup is still temporary. So sooner or later we will have our own setup for the Age of Apocalypse. And then we have Deadpool. So this is actually one of my favorite figures. And then we have Shikla. So this figure came from the Strong Guy Build-A-Figure. So we have another version of Deadpool, the X-Trainee, and of course Madcap, while we used the body of Batrox. Of course, we have Jeff, the Landmark Shark, Gwen's pet. So moving on, we have a Kit Bash, Multiple Man, and of course our Cyclops. So we have a Kit Bash Cyclops while using the body of Spy Master. And then we have two pieces of the retro carded Cyclops. And lastly, we have a custom figured Cyclops. So I used the body of Union Jack and hand painted the figure. So anyway, I used the head from the Love Triangle Cyclops. Okay, so this is the main setup of our display. The X-Men or the mutants. Okay, so we're going to start with our Wolverine collections. So these are some of my Wolverine collections, or let's say doubles. So to start with, we have our 80s version of the Wolverine, or the brown Wolverine. And then we have our custom figured House of X Wolverine. So I hand painted this figure using the Uncanny X-Force Wolverine. And then we have the 3-pack Love Triangle Wolverine. So moving on, we have a Kit Bash figured using the body of the first appearance Wolverine while using the alt head of the love triangle Wolverine. And then we have the first appearance Wolverine. Moving on, we have Laura or X-23. Okay, so moving up, we have the 90s version of Nightcrawler. So I would say this is one of the decent figures Hasbro created or released in 2019. So personally, this is one of my favorite figures for the X-Men lineup. Aside of the butterfly joints, what I really like about this figure is the facial features. Like, look at that! So this figure actually comes with 2 additional heads, and of course 1 additional hand. So below Nightcrawler, we have one of the founding members of X-Men. So we have Beast. So this is the older version or the Toy Beast version of the Beast. I mean, look at the facial feature of this one. What I don't like about this figure is it lacks torso articulation. But overall, I like this figure. So moving on, we have another version of the Wolverine. So this is a kit bashed. I used the head from the retro card, while the body came from the Age of Apocalypse Weapon X. Actually, I do have the Weapon X, or the Age of Apocalypse Weapon X, and also the Weapon X. Okay, so this is the figure that I'm saying, a sealed in box Weapon X from the Age of Apocalypse wave. And then I have another version of the Weapon X, also a sealed in box, although the box does have dents and damages. Okay, so going to the top again, we have the deluxe version of the Archangel. So this figure comes with 3 additional heads aside of the Apocalypse Claw. So beside him, we have our custom figured Psylocke. So I used the silver sable body for this one, while using the original head from Psylocke. So below them, we have the Apocalypse version of Wolverine. I actually own another version or double for this figure. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. So moving on, we have the House of X version of Magneto. So this is actually a custom figure. I used the body of Rock Python, so this is Rock Python, while the head came from the Marvel Now Magneto or the Apocalypse Build-A-Figure Magneto. The cape came from the Return of Marvel Legends Magneto. And then I hand painted the figure using an acrylic paint. Okay, so below this custom figure is another custom figure from the House of X. So we have Charles Xavier, also known as Professor X. So for the body, I used the Lasher as the base figure, while the head came from a customizer. So beside Professor X is another custom figure. So this version is a custom figure using the Hellcat body and the 3-pack love triangle for the head. So moving on, we have the 3-pack version of Cyclops or the love triangle. So I used the head of the Warlock version Cyclops and the straps. Actually, I have another version or the mint and sealed box version of the love triangle. I'm still undecided to open it up because I like the box. So here it goes. Anyway, we have another custom figure, the XMen. So I used the Astral Vision body for this figure. I hand painted the figure using an acrylic paints or using acrylic paints. And then we have Gambit. Actually, I have 3 pieces of this Gambit, and I like this one more than the retro card. So to the top, we have one of the most anticipated figures in 2019. So we have the 90s version of Storm, or the Gimli version of the figure. So look at that. I also have the black figure, or the black version of this Storm. So just to show you, this is the other one. This is the mint and sealed box version. So I have another version of the Black Storm. So this one is for customization. And next we have a custom figured Banshee. So I used the Marvel Vision for the body. The forearms and the calves came from Nighthawk, while the head came from the alternative head of Archangel. So I hand painted the figure to have this version. And of course, lastly, we have Cyclops. So this is a figure that was given to me as a freebie. Alright, so that's all for now, and I hope you like this video. Please do subscribe to this channel, kindly click the like button, and share it to your networks. Again, this is Clement, and thank you so much for watching. Until next!